Hello Pokemon trainers, welcome back to another Pokemon Scarlet and Violet Battle Stadium singles video here on iStarly TV. This is part of my Road to Masters series where I try to climb the online Battle Stadium singles ladder, the ranked ladder of course. And today we have a brand new team here that I've been testing, and I built this team. As you can see, it has a couple of very unconventional Pokemon. And so yeah, I wanted to try out these Pokemon here, and honestly they've been doing better than I expected. We'll kind of talk through it here, so I'll just kind of jump right in. So the first Pokemon that you see there is Regidrago. I think that's how you say it, Regidrago. I'm pretty sure it's Regidrago, which is the new Dragon-type Regi from Sword and Shield, the DLC. And it's an interesting Pokemon. It's kind of like Regieleki, where they have almost identical stats, I believe, except their speed and HP are swapped. Regieleki has 200 speed, which is insane, and then Regidrago actually has 200 HP, which I believe is I think Blissey has a higher HP stat, but it's one of the highest HP stats of any Pokemon in the entire franchise. And so, obviously this Pokemon has a lot of bulk because of that. However, its defenses are not very good. I think its defenses are base 50, which is not fantastic, though it is a dragon type, which is a decent defensive type. And so kind of the way that I'm working this Pokemon is I'm using a Dragon Dance set. I have just enough speed EVs to outspeed Chien-Pao and Fluttermane, two of the biggest threats in the meta after one Dragon Dance. And then I'm running Terra Fire because that is a pretty good Terra type against those two Pokemon, but it's also pretty good at covering my weaknesses. Of course, I'm weak to Ice and Fairy as a Dragon type, and Fire resists both of those types. So it helps me a lot if I can Terrastalize and I'm expecting a move of one of those types, and then, Fire offensively rounds out the Dragon type coverage pretty nicely. It actually also has a unique ability called Dragon's Maw, which boosts the power of Dragon type moves that it uses. And I'm running max attack to maximize the damage that I do. And then, like I said, I'm running a lot of speed investment, and then the rest of it is basically distributed in defense so that I can take hits a little bit better to complement that really, really high HP stat. And so Regidrago has actually been pretty decent. Like I said, it's a surprisingly good Pokemon in the meta. The next Pokemon right there is Hisuian Zoroark, which is definitely a Pokemon I've been wanting to use. And if I'm being honest, this is a Pokemon that I kind of started the team around. Like I kind of built around Hisuian Zoroark, and I added some Pokemon that I thought would complement it pretty well. And it's interesting, I'm hoping that I can show it off in this video, but if I'm being honest, it is one of the Pokemon on this team that I actually don't bring all that often. And, it's got a really high special attack stat. It's got a really good typing, in fact. It's got an amazing offensive and defensive typing. And its speed is okay. It's base 110 speed, which is not amazing. And so I ended up going with Focus Sash here because obviously the fastest Pokemon in the meta are going to be faster than me, and they're going to hit really hard. Chien-Pao has the super effective Dark-type moves, and then Fluttermane cannot hit me with Ghost-type moves, but it can just use Moonblast, which will do a lot of damage. So I just, thought that Zoroark would be a cool one. And obviously the big gimmick with Zoroark is the Illusion ability, which lets me kind of fake out the opponent, and they'll use a move that they think is super effective against the Pokemon that I'm disguised as, and that gives me a turn to kind of do a lot of damage to them or something. In practice, it hasn't worked out amazingly, but hopefully we can pull off some cool switches, some cool kind of shenanigans in this video. And then I'm just running 4 attacks with Focus Sash, just because, again, this is a frail Pokemon. It's not going to really be surviving hits all that often. I've tried Choice Scarf. Originally, I actually tried Throat Spray, which would, when I use Hyper Voice, it would actually boost the damage of, it would boost my special attack when you use a sound-based move, I guess. So when I use Hyper Voice, it actually gives me a special attack boost, but then I end up dying to everything, and it just felt awkward because I felt forced to use Hyper Voice. So it was kind of awkward, I don't know. And then Bitter Malice is a signature move of it, and it is 75 base power, which is not amazing, but it will always lower their attack stat. So that can be useful if we're predicting a switch. From there, I kind of chose Pokemon that I thought would complement it really well. Like I said, one typing that goes really well with Hisuian Zoroark is Dark typing, because they you know, if they see a dark type, if you're disguised as a dark type, they're going to be tempted to use a fighting type move, and we're immune to fighting because we are a ghost type. And then dark also, you know, it's just a pretty good typing overall. We are weak to dark as a Zoroark, but they're not going to want to use a dark type move against us if they think we are a dark type Pokemon. So that kind of works out in our favor as well. So yeah, we're going to try it out, like I said. Next we have Chien-Pao. I mean, no explanation needed. Pretty standard set, standard moves, standard EVs, max attack, max speed. You know, this Pokemon was one of the Pokemon that I added on the team to complement Zoroark, but also it's just a great Pokemon. Like, you don't really need to explain it too much. Then I have this bulky Scizor, which is max HP, max defense with Rocky Helmet. The Scizor has been pretty good for me, although there have also been times where I've kind of missed the recovery of like a berry or even roost. So we'll see how it works out. Trailblaze kind of looks like a weird move, but it does complement Scizor kind of decently, and it boosts our speed, which can be helpful. Honestly, that last slot could be something else. Close Combat is a great move on Scizor, but the downside with that is, again, I'm running bulky Scizor with the goal being to take hits, you know, as long as I can. And so if I'm using close combat, I'm obviously lowering my defense stats, so that kind of works against that. So Scizor is a great Pokemon though, you know, it's pretty good in the meta, I would say. There's a lot of physical attackers, and also Steel with Bullet Punch is pretty good against, again, Fluttermane and Chien-Pao. So I love Scizor. Then we have Ting-Lu, which is honestly one of the first Pokemon that I thought of when I thought of Hisuian Zoroark, because it's an extremely bulky dark type that is just super bulky in the meta. I mean, again, this is another Pokemon that I've used many, many times with great success. You know, not too much explanation needed. It's super tanky, sets up Stealth Rocks, it goes for Whirlwind, and just wreaks havoc on the team. And then finally we have Iron Bundle. Once again, don't really need to explain it too much. I always use this set, and it's kind of like the MVP of this team, if I'm being honest. You know, obviously I want to show off the two Pokemon that I don't normally use, but and they're kind of new, but Iron Bundle is definitely a very good Pokemon. So, you know, I added it to the team just because I needed something to hold everything together, something to really just kind of do a lot of damage and threaten a lot of common Pokemon, and Iron Bundle just perfectly clicks into place. It's just such a fantastic Pokemon. So that is the team. There is the team code if you want to try it out for yourself. And if you do, let me know. Also, let me know if you have any suggestions for the team. I'm always open to those. You know, I've tried Nasty Plot on Zoroark. You know, I think Zoroark's the main kind of like code that I need to crack with this team. Like, I really want to use it, but it just hasn't been feeling amazing yet. So maybe I'm missing that one thing that'll push it over the edge. Also, as far as the Terra type on Zoroark, honestly, that's the one Terra type that I wasn't sure what to go for. I kind of figured, like, I thought about Terra Fire, but Ghost seems decent as well. I don't know, we're gonna see how it works, but yeah, thank you for watching, and let's get to the games. I'm actually still in Ultra Ball. I don't know what it is. Usually when the season resets, when it's a brand new season with new Pokemon, I always struggle to get into Master Ball. Like, it takes me a lot of games, and so for some reason I'm still struggling here, but I'm doing my best. I feel like I win a game or two, and then I end up losing the game that I'm going to be promoted into Master Ball, so it's a slow process. But anyways, my opponent's team here, they've got Clodsire, they've got Vaporeon. Vaporeon is an interesting one. It's really bulky. I feel like often when you see Vaporeon, they're going to have like Acid Armor and probably Baton Pass, and so that is something that I'm going to need to keep in mind. So I think I like Iron Bundle here. Bundle, I mean, I can't say this enough. Iron Bundle's such a great Pokemon. It looks pretty good against my opponent's whole team. I feel like when they see my team, they're going to expect me to lead with Ting-Lu. And, you know, Iron Bundle's actually the perfect Pokemon where a lot of Pokemon that they would bring against Ting-Lu, Iron Bundle's actually just good against. So that works out really well. From there, you know what, I'm going to try Zoroark here, and then I'm going to bring Chien-Pao as well. Chien-Pao's just really strong. So, for example, if my opponent does end up bringing that Vaporeon, I just want to be able to blast through it. I just want to be able to get off as much damage on it as I possibly can. And then Zoroark's like decent against some of the Pokemon that they have as well. We're going to see how it goes. I kind of feel like Zoroark might benefit better in like a 6v6 setting, or even like a 2v2 setting. like a 4v4 setting, but like doubles basically is what I'm saying. But in a 3v3 setting like this, it feels a little more tricky. My opponent leads with Chien-Pao, which is a matchup that's kind of 50-50 on the Iron Bundle side. Basically, if I get off this Hydro Pump, I do massive damage to it, but then they go ahead and do a lot of damage to me as well. I could Terra expecting like a Sacred Sword, which is actually not the worst play in the world. I could also, if I am expecting that Sacred Sword, I could go into Zoroark here. I'm just going to go ahead and fire off the Hydro Pump and just hope for the best, honestly. They actually switch, which is fantastic for me. That's actually really, really good because even if I do miss, like I at least get the information on what they're going to go into. They make a very smart play and they go right into Vaporeon, which is honestly not my favorite, but actually this is pretty decent for me. Now I have a few options. I can substitute here, expecting them to like go for Acid Armor, and then just getting behind a sub is just great for me, or I can go Freeze Dry to get off super effective damage. I'm just going to sub here just to kind of play it a little bit safe. If they go Acid Armor, that's actually not the worst because I can just go ahead and go for the Encore to lock them into Acid Armor, and then they can't Baton Pass. And the fact that I'm faster than them and I have Encore means that they're kind of never going to get to go for anything that they want to. They do go Terra Fairy though. I did think about this too, you know, I was thinking about going for Freeze Dry, and I did expect that they very well could Terrastalize, which means they would no longer be weak to Freeze Dry. And that's of course what they end up doing here. And they have Calm Mind. They have Calm Mind instead of Acid Armor, which is actually a lot tougher for me, obviously, because that's going to boost their special defense, which is going to make it harder for me to get off a lot of damage on them. Now, one thing I can do, which is really cheesy, is I can go for Encore and then just kind of spam Freeze Dry and like try to get a freeze on them, which again is like really cheesy. I'm just going to start with that because what? Interesting. Okay, interesting. I wonder why they switched here. Maybe they expect me to switch. Actually, I think that's what's going on here. So they go right back into Chien-Pao. I think the Hydro Pump is obvious, and they very well could go right back into the Vaporeon. They resist Freeze Dry. I'm going to Hydro Pump again. I think it's pretty likely that they go right back into it. Yeah, but they also might expect me to overpredict, and I don't. So I get off a ton of damage on Chien-Pao, and now I should be able to actually knock them out with the Freeze Dry unless they have Life Orb. Let's see what happens here. Maybe they switched because they didn't expect me to have Substitute. That's another possibility there, but I'm very happy that they switched there. They do not have Life Orb, but I am free to go for Freeze Dry. Even if they go for Sucker Punch, it's not going to knock me out because Iron Bundle has pretty good defense. So I should survive a Sucker Punch, especially since we know that they are not Life Orb. So it's going to do less damage than, you know, normal. And if they are Choice Banded, then they can't go for Sucker Punch anyway. So like, yeah, everything's just pointing to us just knocking them out there with Freeze Dry. And here we are kind of back to square one with this Vaporeon. Although we are up 3-2, we have 3 Pokemon left and they have 2, and all of our Pokemon now have full health, which is amazing. And they go right into their Meowscarada. Gotta think ahead to how I'm gonna win this battle now. Because if they set up enough with that Vaporeon, we are in a lot of trouble actually. But I think I still just Freeze Dry here. It's possible they're Choice Scarf. Yeah, they are Choice Scarf here. I could have expected that, but, you know, my Iron Bundle can't beat Choice Scarf Meowscarada anyway. Importantly, they're a pure Grass type now, so I'm just going to go into my Hisuian Zoroark, which is shiny, by the way. The sad thing is we don't get to see the shiny animation because I am, you know, disguised as something else. And I'm actually just going to go for Hyper Voice. This might be weird. Okay, I guess it ends up paying off for me because they actually end up switching here. Now, given that they're Terra Fairy Vaporeon, they could have Terra Blast, which is something that I'm definitely going to be afraid of with my... That does a lot of damage, actually, with my Chien-Pao. They're probably going to have Terra Blast. They probably also have Wish. I definitely don't like this. I think I'm going to get off another Hyper Voice just to get off more damage on them, and then the next turn I'm going to go ahead and switch into my Chien-Pao, because I think that's the turn where it's a little less likely that they're just going to attack me, because I believe I would threaten to knock them out if they attack, so they might be more inclined to like go for a Wish or something like that. So that might give me a free switch into my Chien-Pao. And given that they're Terra Fairy, my Dark type moves will not do damage against them. Yeah, that does good damage. They actually just go Yawn. Oh, so the big prediction here is whether they have Protect, which I do think is really likely. Once again, they have Leftovers. They probably have Wish. Leftovers, Calm Mind. I think it's pretty likely they have Protect, so I'm just going to go right into Chien-Pao. I guess they could go Terra Blast here, and the funny thing is they know that my last Pokemon's Chien-Pao because of the Disguise, or the Illusion. So if they make this prediction, or if they just simply go for Terra Blast here, we could just lose the game. Okay, they switch, which I think I'm okay with. The thing is, Meowscarada also gets Sucker Punch. But I'm natural. Well, we know they're Choice Scarf, actually. That's important. So I'm going to go into Zoroark now. Another thing to keep in mind. Oh, this is actually kind of rough. Maybe I should have tried to win the game with Zoroark, actually. They go U-turn. Okay, this still might work out in our favor. Huh. I think I might have messed up here because they're Choice Scarf Meowscarada. I actually think I need Zoroark to win, or I needed Zoroark's Focus Sash intact in order to beat the Meowscarada. So I might have messed up there. If they don't have Protect though, we might be able to knock them out right here. Yeah, I think I misplayed there. I was thinking to myself, because this is kind of how it always is, that Chien-Pao would be my key to winning this battle. But the true key was actually, I think, Zoroark. But they actually switch again, which is really weird. I guess they're trying to get extra recovery. But I think it's kind of clear now that they actually just don't have... Protect, right? I feel like they would have gone for it by now. So now, let's see. I could Terra Shadow Sneak. That's probably not knocking them out. Or I could switch. Oh, I don't think that's going to do anything. What are the odds they go in for their grass type move here? They're going to go for a dark type move, right? They go for a dark type move and I'm dead. I'm going to Shadow Sneak, just get off as much damage as possible. I kind of feel like with as low as their Vaporeon is, I kind of feel like either of my Pokemon is capable of knocking out Vaporeon with a strong move. So, and in fact, I do kind of feel like Chien-Pao might be more likely to do that. So I'm just going to go for the Shadow Sneak there just to get off as much damage as possible on the Meowscarada. And they went for Flower Trick, obviously. So now they're a grass type. They're probably going to expect me to Sucker Punch, but I kind of think I have to, because if I don't, then... yeah, I'm doing it. If I don't Sucker Punch there and then they make a prediction, then we are just straight up dead and we lose. So we have to just play to the out that where we don't lose the game, basically, if we misplay. Worst case scenario, they go into Vaporeon here because then our Sucker Punch was for naught. But then I should be able to get off a lot of damage with the Icicle Crash on Vaporeon. I might knock it out. The thing that I think I was saying this earlier with Vaporeon, it's possible that they're like max HP and max defense because they are running Calm Mind, which if that's the case, that's really scary. They do switch, unfortunately, but like I said, I think I kind of had to there. The good thing though is... actually, you know what? If their Meowscarada has Sucker Punch, we might possibly lose anyway. But whatever, I'm going Crash here. They can't switch, yeah, they have to stay in. I'm sure this knocks them out. It does, perfect, perfect, perfect. If their Meowscarada has Sucker Punch, we actually might lose the game, because then they're going to be faster than us, and they're always going to hit us with Sucker Punch, and our Sucker Punch will fail against them. The funny thing is, if they have Sucker Punch, our play is actually to go for like Sacred Sword here, though. But honestly, I'm just gonna click Sucker Punch. They know I have Sucker Punch, so this might be a huge mistake on my part. So this battle just comes down to like I guess it's not a true 50-50, but it's kind of a 50-50 because, you know, if I click Sucker Punch and they click Sucker Punch as well, they win. If they don't have Sucker Punch or they click anything other than Sucker Punch, then I win. But they know I have Sucker Punch, so that's like the advantage that they have. Unless they just don't have it, right? Yes, okay. Oh, well, I guess that's another option there, never mind. So they tricked me at Choice Scarf, which is really funny. That's really funny because... Oh, does that mean I'm locked into it? What happens now? Okay, I'm not locked into it. Okay, cool. All right, cool. We just win anyway. That was scary. There was a lot of opportunities where we could have lost there. I think what came down to it, what really hurt my opponent was the fact that their Vaporeon either didn't have or just never used Protect. But I feel like if you're going for Yawn and like you have leftovers and if you have Wish as well, like you should have Protect, but they might not have had Wish either. Like, you know, all we saw was Calm Mind and Yawn, and if they did have Protect, that means they only have room for one more move. And I do, once again, feel like Baton Pass is pretty common on Vaporeon, so maybe they also had like Acid Armor and Baton Pass or something like that. So maybe that's why they were kind of playing a little extra safe with their Vaporeon, because they just didn't have any offensive moves. But either way, we pull out a win there, and actually Zoroark did some decent work there, so that was pretty fun. Let's go to the next one. Nice. My opponent's team's pretty cool. The first thing I noticed is that their team looks really weak to Chien-Pao. But, I mean, the whole metagame's basically weak to Chien-Pao. However, of course, they do have... They're actually... Their first two Pokemon are weak to Chien-Pao, but honestly, nothing else on their team is. Because they have Mimikyu, which can always take one hit. They have Azumarill, which is great against Chien-Pao. So, actually, yeah, they actually are not that bad against Chien-Pao. One Pokemon that I really like here is actually Scizor, though. Scizor is great against Azu. It's great against Mimikyu. And then it can hold its own against Chien-Pao and Ursaluna, and I guess the only Pokemon they have that Scizor is kind of scared of is Zapdos. So I do want to bring Scizor here. I'm honestly tempted to bring Zoroark as well. Huh. And then what about Drago? Drago makes me most scared of... Let's see, getting up rocks would also be nice. But I think I just want to be a little offensive here. I was going to say Drago makes me more scared of a Mimikyu, and they have two fairy types. They have three fairy types actually, so and an ice type, so that's just kind of scary. I could Terra Fire, but then they do have a strong ground type and a strong water type. So I think this might be the right setup here. We're going to be disguising Zoroark as Scizor, which is pretty interesting. And Zoroark's pretty solid against Mimikyu because, you know, if it's disguised as Scizor, they're not going to want to go for the fairy type move. They're going to try to go for the ghost type move against me. And of course I'm immune to that, so we'll see how this goes. They lead with Azu, pretty good, makes a lot of sense. And I lead with my bundle, which I like. I think this is a good matchup for me. If they're like Choice Banded, we do a ton of damage with Freeze Dry. If they're Assault Vest, that might be the scariest option. They could also Terra and go Belly Drum, which would actually be really scary, but I'm just gonna Freeze Dry here. I don't think we really lose anything. They do Terra right away, which is what I said would be scary if they go Terra into Belly Drum. All right, Terra Fairy, because I mean that is still risky, right? We'll see what happens here. Yeah, that does nothing. They're probably Assault Vest then, in which case I'm actually kind of fine, right? Because Play Rough, I'm not scared of Play Rough doing that much damage. I'm tempted to sub. But I'm just going to fire off a Hydro Pump, get off more damage. We do miss. That really sucks. And they Play Rough. I'm pretty sure I'd take this pretty well. Oh, no way. Wow, okay. Are they banded then? That's interesting. That's pretty good for them. There might be some merit to saving Bundle. This might mess up our Zoroark, but I'm gonna go into Scizor here. I do have the Rocky Helmet, and given that they're Terra Fairy, I actually really pressure them with the Bullet Punch. They go Aqua Jet, so that reveals that they are not Choice Banded, and I think it's pretty likely they switch here, right? Because I'm gonna be taking their hits really well. I'm tempted to Swords Dance. If I Swords Dance though and they go into Zapdos, that's really annoying, but if I Swords Dance and they go into anything else, I'm in a really good spot. I think Zapdos is a pretty clear switch here. Honestly, my team is not great against Zapdos. Huh. I'm gonna Swords Dance and they're gonna go into Zapdos. They don't, huh? What could they have here? I mean, I'm gonna take hits from them all day, so I'm not that scared. Superpower, that's not great for them. I mean, it does a good chunk of damage, but then they take Rocky Helmet damage, and their attack and defense are lowered. Should I be greedy and go Trailblaze here? I don't think I should be greedy anymore. I'm just gonna Bullet Punch. I'm at +2 now, yeah. I was tempted to Trailblaze there, just with the chance that it might knock them out, because I'm at +2 attack, and they are at -1 defense now, but I actually think they would probably survive, and just letting them get off another hit is just kind of not great for me. Although I guess once whatever move they go for after that, like they would die to Rocky Helmet, so yeah, they go into Mimikyu though, even though they know that we have Rocky Helmet. Interesting. They might be one of those tricky Mimikyus with like Pain Split and stuff like that, and Curse. Maybe Thunder Wave. Trick Room, sure, that too. Oh, they're setting up Trick Room for Ursaluna, okay. So we need to stall this thing out. This is scary. Oh shoot. Well, I can knock out, I knock out Mimikyu for sure here. And then, so Ursaluna against the world. So that was one turn of Trick Room, right? So we get off a lot of damage here, but then they knock us out. They cannot Terrasilize, which is important. There's no reason for us to Terra Water. I think they're just gonna go Earthquake though, and that's gonna get around my Rocky Helmet. Thing is, if we can stall out Trick Room, which I actually don't think is possible. Oh, this is scary. I don't think it's possible to stall out Trick Room, right? Because if we stay in, we don't knock them out, I don't think. And then we go into Bundle, whatever. Yeah, I think, oh, and they'll probably also have Flame Orb, right? We survive! Oh, that's huge. That is absolute. I think that helps us win the game. I guess I should have expected this, or at least expected the possibility that we might survive, because I'm max HP, max defense, impish. But I think this just kind of guarantees that we win the game, because now, oh yeah, they're gonna take, I don't know why they went Facade, maybe they expected me to switch, but now they take Rocky Helmet damage plus burn damage. That's gonna just add up, and yeah, they're done. The big thing is that my last Pokemon, I mean, either way, we win the game, because we could go into Bundle, and then even though Bundle will die, they'll just get knocked out to the burn damage, so yeah. Wait, oh yeah, I was like, wait, I didn't go into Iron Bundle, but yeah. So now we go into Zoroark, and they're probably thinking like, wait, that doesn't have full health. Yeah. Plus they just went Facade. It doesn't matter though, because once again, the burn damage would have knocked them out. So cool stuff. You know, I do like Ursaluna, and I do think it's worth trying out with Trick Room. But that's the thing about it, is like, the big way that you use it is with Trick Room. So, you know, that it's hard to build teams around it in the Battle Stadium singles meta. But those battles went a little bit longer, but I think they were pretty good. I'm actually just gonna end it here. And I'll do more throughout the week for sure. I think the next video I'll just use this same team, just because I didn't really do that many battles, and I feel like I didn't get to show off everything. Like in the next video I'll show off more of the Regidrago, but I'm really happy that, because in testing, Zoroark was probably the Pokemon I brought in the least, and in this video it actually did some decent work. I mean, it was not useless. It was pretty good actually. So that was a lot of fun. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. There's the team right there with the team code if you want to try it out yourself. I appreciate all of the support. I'm having a lot of fun with this meta. I was on vacation for the past few days, so I didn't really have time to play games and stuff like that, but I'm back now, and this week I will be doing more videos. Like I said, the next video I'll just use the same team and just kind of show it off again. So thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it. Please leave a like and subscribe for more Pokemon Scarlet and Violet videos. And if you have a team that you'd like to share with me, feel free to leave it in the comments below, and I'll try it out and give you a shout out in one of the next videos when I use it. So thank you very much. Hope you have a great day. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.